What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So we got another episode of This Week in Warframe, where we go over the entire weekly reset, and basically what to expect as a Warframe player this week. Now, as far as this week, it's not going to be an extremely eventful week for Warframe, but the week after, we got Jade Shadows coming out on all platforms. As far as things happening this week, we got Baro Ki'Teer on Friday, but beyond that, really not a ton going on. So you can get your prep going on for the Jade Shadows update. You'll get like a magnetic Glaxian, things like that. I got a prep guide if you want to check it out, but let's go over what we have today. So, starting off with the first weekly reset item, and of course, yeah, we are recording this live on stream right now, so you want to come stop in the live stream. I will be doing a Steel Path, or rather, an Elite Archimedean solo for 70 Voss, if you want to come stop by and see how that goes. So, you got a Kick on Riven at Teshin for his first weekly reset item, and the Kuva and the Relics are always going to be down here. But yeah, so there's not really a ton going on this week in Warframe, but, you know, Baro will be here on Friday, so he could maybe bring a new Prime mod. I hate to say that every couple of weeks, but... you know, what else can you hope for at Baro? Last time, I believe he brought a bobblehead, like a 4-year-old Twitch drop bobblehead thing. And then beyond that, it's been like, you know, glyphs and skins. So, if we get like a new Prime mod for like an Archwing gun or something, I wouldn't mind that one bit. Alright, so moving over to the Dorma Zone for Archimedean's weekly wares. Let's go see if they have any reactors or catalysts, which is one of the main reasons you would go over here. Okay, so checking out what we have over here.
Something is different about you.
Oh, Game's freezing a little bit today. Okay, so we do have an Auric and Catalyst over at Archimedean's Wares. So we've got 2 5k Kuvas for 10 Pathos each. We've got a Companion Rivabot for 20 Pathos, Axilus Weapon Adapter for 20 Pathos, and a Auric and Catalyst Blueprint for 20 Pathos. Now, as far as prepping for the Jade Shadows update, there is going to be a new simulacrum available, and it is going to be Deviri themed. So my guess is it will be something you buy with Pathos clamps or resources. So I've got over 100 Pathos clamps just in case, but that is extremely, you know, over preparing of me to do that. So if you want to get this Auric and Catalyst 20 Pathos, be my guest. They got Kuva twice, and honestly, that Kuva is not a great use of your Pathos. Like, you could farm that much Kuva very easily without any Aura Worm battles. So yeah, 5k Kuva, really not what you're looking for here. So let's go ahead and look at the Archon hunt before we go and look at the Elite Archimedean. So you've got the red Archon shards, the crimson Archon shards with the Wolf Archon on Mars. Your mission types are going to be Mole Defense, Interception, and the final boss showdown against the Wolf Archon. Good luck getting that Archon Tau shard. I do think that red Archon shards will be good with Jade, as she seems like a pretty power strength dependent frame. Alright, so, reminder, I will be doing the Elite Archimedean solo, so we'll be doing all the modifiers, all the, you know, gear I don't want to run, and hoping that we get a bunch of Tau shards out of doing it, just for a little bit of entertainment and content. Alright, let's see what we got, though. Okay, so we got some pretty good, we got Chroma, I got Chroma, Garuda, and Neja, so that's pretty good, and the weapons look okay. But let's just go ahead and read the mission types here. So what am I going to be going through today? We got Mere Defense as the first mission, Alchemy as the second mission, and Survival as the final mission. Now as far as your modifiers, remember the Elite Archimedean button does add an extra negative modifier to each mode. So let's just go ahead and see what we have. So for Mere Defense, the first one's Eroding Senses. The Oracle and Vitrium take a damage over time. Collect the required Vosphine glyphs will halt the degradation and partially heal them. So this thing will be constantly taking damage, not only from the enemies, but from just the modifier itself. So you need to be picking up those glyphs pretty regularly to do this. Rupturing Fragments replace Shuffling Fragments. That's really, really bad. You need to be careful with those, because those Rupturing Fragments deal a ton of damage, and they can also damage the objective. So you have to make sure those things don't get to the objective, or it's going to be pretty much instantly dead. So very, very dangerous there. Mere Defense has been gone for like a couple weeks, and it's back with a vengeance today. The final modifier, the Elite Archimedean modifier, Rogue Culverins equip weapons that deal 5 times damage to Overguard and Necromex. So, you know, Dante can only help you so much here, because they'll be chewing through that Overguard real fast. So a pretty deadly Mere Defense first mission. For the Alchemy mission, we got Hazardous Goods. Amphors will inflict their associated elemental damage while being carried. So if you have a Toxin Grenade, you'll be taking Toxin damage as you hold it. So throw it as quickly as possible, basically. Devil's Bargain. Allies within 4 meters of slight enemies gain increased fire rate at the cost of minus ammo efficiency. Interesting. Not even that bad of a modifier, I'd say. And the last one, Alluring Archonids. As the robot dogs charge their attacks, they will pull Warframes near them, into them. So, Alchemy is just pretty annoying because you have to throw so many grenades at the thing in the first place, but honestly, if you get past this mere defense and you get to here, you should be fine doing this one with these not that bad of modifiers. And for the final mission, Hostile Support is going to be your modifier in Survival. The Life Support Tower delivery system is disabled. Necromechs spawn every 90 seconds and drop 6 life support modules when killed. This one can be pretty annoying. If you're soloing this, having to kill those mechs, there's sometimes like 3 mechs in the same room, and you have no life support towers. This one can be kind of annoying sometimes. But if you have the gear to kill them, it shouldn't be that bad. I don't see any gear embargo this week either. Bold Ventures with your second modifier. Enemies deal less damage, but also take increased damage and gain increased movement speed, attack speed, and fire rate. So a kind of weird modifier. Might be a little bit annoying if you're playing it solo. And the last one, Slain Enemies will explode in a burst of void energy. So that can deal a bunch of damage, but it's not going to be as much as the Rupturing Fragment. So yeah, a pretty annoying week of missions, honestly. You got long mission here, long mission here, long mission here. No exterminates. As far as your individual modifiers, abbreviated abilities. Ability duration reduced by 75%, so you'll be recasting a lot. If I'm playing Chroma, I'm going to be constantly recast that Vex armor. Fractured Armor. Casting an ability reduces your armor by 10% for 10 seconds. Pretty annoying. Ammo Deficit. Ammo restored by drops and gear is reduced by 75%. So be careful with kind of weapons you pick here. And for the final one, oh no. Transference Distortion. Transference into Operator and Drifter is blocked, so you cannot use your Operator. Okay, so no Operator. Hardly any ammo. You lose armor whenever you cast an ability, and massively reduced duration on abilities. So I will be soloing this if you want to come stop by and watch the struggle. Looks like we don't have the best weapons. As far as killing a Necromech with these weapons, I guess I'm using the Kuva Hind, the Twin Grakadas, I guess, and I suppose the Tenant Agentis. So this should be a fun time later tonight. So come stop by the stream if you haven't already. Alright, and as far as your Archon Shard at Call, or this isn't Call. At Bird 3, this replaced Call, we got the Amber Archon Shard, and that's going to be for 30,000 Kavia rep. This is no longer at Call, it's over here instead. No one ever will look at Call ever again the same, because it's not as useful anymore. Alright, moving on to the Incarnons and all that other stuff for Devir. Let's see what we got. And spoiler, this is the best Incarnon week possible. We have some of the best Incarnons in the entire game, and they're weapons that you probably want to get if you want the best weapons of the game. But first off, your circuit, as far as the frames you can choose, you got Saren, Vauban, and Nova. Now, as far as who is the most annoying to farm, it's going to be a toss-up between Saren and Vauban. Saren comes from Kale to Fame on Sedna, which requires you to farm, like, judgment points to even do the boss fight in the first place. Vauban comes with from Nightwave rep for the Nightwave credits. So it's actually, once you get the Nightwave credits, you can get him pretty easily. I'm going to say it's definitely going to be a toss-up between these two, because Nova comes from the Raptor fight on what planet is Europa or whatever. So it's really easy to farm her. It's going to be, do you want the farm judgment tokens to get Saren and then fight Kale to Fame to do that, or do you just want to get some Nightwave credits? I'm going to go ahead and say I think that you should get Saren, because not only is her Helminth actually really good, but she can be pretty annoying to farm. So I'm going to go with Saren. Here's my recommendation. But remember, you will be saving Nightwave credits if you go with Vauban instead of Saren this week. And I got Venom Dose, one of my rank up rewards, a very good augment for her. But the augment you get on this is actually random for the frame. Alright, moving on to the Incarnons this week. It's just some juicy stuff. We got lots of powerful Incarnons to choose from. You got your work cut out for you as far as choosing a powerful one. Reminder that if you haven't played in a while, you can get Kuva or Rivens instead of Incarnons if you choose to do that if you have the rank 9 opportunity intrinsic. Alright, so going over every Incarnon we have and suggestions on which one to go for first. We have the Torrid Incarnon, a toxic grenade launcher that will turn into a extremely powerful beam weapon when transformed into Incarnon form. The Dual Toxicist, a semi-auto pistol that becomes a full auto, like, chaining pistol of death after you get the Incarnon form. And reminder, we're getting a full auto setting in the Jade Shadows update, so this will be full auto in both forms going forward. The Dual Ichor Incarnon, a really strong dual sword weapon that has built-in toxin damage. The Incarnon form on this thing Get a kill, enemy's corpse becomes a toxin cloud that will go off of your modded elemental. So if you have a viral build on your dual Ichor, the cloud will become viral, or if you had corrosive, it'd be corrosive, so on and so forth. So pretty powerful right there. The Miter Incarnon, a saw blade launcher. When it becomes Incarnon form, the saw blade will have homing and will bounce around to nearby enemies. Very good for just killing tons and tons of enemies. Very, very crit focused too. If you want an Acolyte killing weapon, this is a very good Acolyte killing weapon with all that crit. And the final one, the Atomos Incarnon, a fire chaining pistol weapon. The Incarnon form becomes a extremely hard-hitting grenade launcher. As far as what the best ones are this week, the best Incarnons are going to definitely be the Dual Toxicist and the Torrid. But now that we have the Tenant Galaxian doing so good nowadays, I'm thinking that the Torrid is getting less and less popular, at least to me. The Dual Toxicist, on the other hand, this is hard to replace. It's definitely the best pistol, one of the best pistols in the game. So yeah, I'd say go for Dual Tox number 1, and your number 2 is going to be really up to what you want. Do you want a very powerful melee weapon that can take care of high-level enemies and do AoE as well with its Toxin Clouds that creates unkill? Then go for the Dual Ichor. If you still want to, maybe you don't have the Tenant Galaxian, you want a red crit beam gun, the Torrid is still really, really strong and really, top tier. It has expensive ribbons for a reason. You might still want to get this, and you probably wait for this for weeks. So I'd say, as far as my number 1, number 2 recommendations, it's still going to be Dual Tox and Torrid, but I could definitely see you saying, okay, Galaxian has replaced Torrid for me, no Incarnate ammo needed in the Galaxian. You could go with like Dual Tox and like Dual Ichor, or Dual Tox and Miter. There's an augment mod for the Miter that can pop enemy nullifier bubbles in 1 tick, so this is very, very good on that. The Atomos, on the other hand, this thing is probably the lowest recommendation this week, although it is very, very strong. The Chaining Fire Beam hits really hard. The range on this thing has a range Incarnon for even more beam range. The Grenade Launcher, on the other hand, not really as great. This thing does build Incarnate ammo from headshots, and the Torrid does it from body shots. So I'd still say go for Dual Tox and Torrid, but you definitely have more flexibility nowadays since the Galaxian is so strong. But they're all really, really high tier options this week, guys. So good luck picking whichever one you want. Okay, for your Nightwave rep and your Nightwave challenges, let's see what we got this week. Now, we don't have the Galaxian augment yet. Some people might have it that are on like certain platforms. They got like an extra Nightwave reset, but we're not talking about that today because it didn't happen to me. But yes, as far as the challenges, first Nightwave challenge: Hacker, complete 10 consoles, or hack 10 consoles, pretty easy. Complete 4 different Zeramon bounties in the Zeramon. Yikes, that one can be kind of annoying. Survival is your first Elite Weekly. Complete a survival mission reaching at least 20 minutes. Pretty straightforward. The Price of Freedom. Free 1 captured Solaris using a Granum Crown. So in those Corpus missions on like higher level planets like Pluto and stuff, just throw the Granum Crown to the captured target, and then they will, or the hidden captured target, and they will be freed, and you will get this challenge on very quickly. For your permanent weeklies, you got Kill 30 Eximus, complete 15 missions, and kill 500 enemies. Pretty straightforward right there. Now, as far as your Nightwave store, let's take a look at what we have here. Now, there's your Vauban parts. If you didn't pick the Vauban parts from the circuit, you can just get them here instead. 75 total Nora creds. You got your Evergreen stuff at the top. And as far as helmets here, we did have the Dante helmet a couple weeks ago for the first time. So that will be back in the store eventually. We got some helmets here, Dagoth helmet, other things like that. As far as your Aura mods and Augment mods, we got Wild Frenzy of the Gurkada, Deadly Maneuvers for the Magnus, and for Aura mods, you got Corrosive Reduction, Physique, Dreamer's Bond, and Sprint Boost. Now, as far as all these mods, what's the most useful ones to get? Corrosive Reduction is pretty good. Remember, enemies' armor is being nerfed in the Jade Shadows update, so this might end up being worth it because they're going to have so much less armor overall. We'll see, though. It's kind of a must-have, but also you can get away with not having it technically. Sprint Boost can be very nice on speedrunning situations, but also not needed either. Deadly Maneuvers, if you are planning to use the Magnus Prime, I would say definitely make sure you have this augment. But, I mean, if you use the Magnus Prime in the first place, like, what are you doing? But yeah, you could use this on the Magnus Prime if you wanted to, but it's not really, like, a must-have either. Neither is Wild Frenzy, for that matter. For your Mastery Fodder, you got the Heat Sword and the Jaw Sword. Great to have those just for Mastery Fodder. And then for the PvP augment mods at the bottom, you got Purifying Flame for Ember. This is not the Ember augment that's getting massively buffed. That's going to be Healing Flame, so you don't need this one. Purifying Flame's kind of whatever. Singularity for Nyx. Power of 3 for Ivara, and Skull Shot to the Viper. So yeah, this is not the augment you want for Ember. You want to get Healing Flame for Ember. That will be the one that gives you Overguard in the new update. So yeah, it's basically going to be it for most of this stuff, guys. We already went over the Archon hunt, and yeah, there is really not a ton going on in Warframe this week. So just, get your prep stuff going for the next week for the 18th, and you can be, hopefully getting Jade at launch. Let's go ahead and see what invigorations we have before we call it here. Now, reminder, these are random per player per week, and just because I have Hydroid, Lavos, and Grendel doesn't mean you're going to have Hydroid, Grendel, and Lavos. Going over the first one here, we got primary critical chance and reload speed for Hydroid. Not really that useful, but maybe for an endurance run, this could be helpful to just have better utility stats on my primary. For Lavos, we got secondary damage and 1,000 extra health. Since Lavos is a shield and health focused frame, this could be pretty useful, but I'm not really playing Lavos that often, to be honest. And for Grendel, we got heal rate and melee critical chance. Built-in heal rate on a frame that has this much armor can be pretty nice, but melee critical chance, not really what I'm going to do on Grendel. And a reminder, if you don't have this stuff unlocked, you can unlock these by getting the rank 5 Necrolisk Syndicate and talking the Sun NPC, like the Sun vendor, you can get this stuff unlocked. So, hope you guys found this video fun and helpful. See you next time. Appreciate all the support. And yeah, there will be plenty of videos this week going over, builds and all that stuff. We're just waiting for that new Jade Shadows update on the 18th. You guys take it easy. Peace.